O'clock, board members. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our first item is our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Vice Chair, could you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
I'll second.
Any additions? Hearing none, please vote. It is approved. Tiger Spotlight.
We have actually two Tiger Spotlights today that I want to acknowledge. October is National Principals Month, and at Marshall Public Schools, we want to acknowledge that we have some of the best. Our principals work tirelessly each day to ensure our buildings run smoothly and the staff and student needs are met. Join us this month in saying thank you to each of our building principals. At Parkside Elementary and Early Childhood, that's Darcy Love and Tiffany Teskey. At Southview Elementary, Peter Thor and Amanda Grinauger. At the middle school, Paula Wolter Matson and Corey Bowe. At the high school in Maytech, Brian Jones, Travis Frazee, and Amanda Peterson. So thank you to all of our principals.
Having fun yet, Paula?
She's still smiling. And we also want to recognize this month our custodians. It's Custodial Recognition Day, I think was actually Saturday. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of our custodial workers in the district. Every year they do a great job keeping our buildings and grounds well maintained and in good working order. The past 2 years have posed additional duties and challenges to this department. They have stepped up and done everything that's been asked of them. We thank this amazing group of employees for their work in keeping our students and staff healthy and safe. So thank you to our custodians as well.
And I'll second that for both groups. We're blessed to have such great administrators and custodians. Moving on to our public forum. This is the time that anybody in the public would like to approach the board. We'll move on to our presentation, academic support.
Mr. Chair, just before the presentation, I would like just to introduce the board to our new payroll technician, Lindsay Miles. Lindsay, if you want to stand up and just kind of wave. I told her she wouldn't actually have to say anything.
Welcome, Lindsay.
Welcome.
To Marshall.
Lindsay's been here for a week now, and she's doing a great job.
Are you new to Marshall or just to the position? Okay.
Well, great. We're excited to have you. 8 out of the 9 people up here are really nice, so. You can figure out which one isn't, so.
Probably me. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
So we're here to tell you a little bit about our academic support program that is here at the middle school for our 5-8 students. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth between you. So that's going to tell you about how it started and what it is right now.
Yeah, a little background about academic support. To my knowledge, it started roughly about 10 years ago. I could be a little off on that. And it started as the Home and Academic Support Program with the goal of bridging a gap between home and school for some identified kids. And when I came into the program, it had switched to just academic support and was aimed at identifying bubble kids or partially meets kids, and then building cohorts, and then helping them to achieve growth and proficiency in their academics. So that's the history of it as far as I know.
We're going to talk about kind of a little staff spotlight. So who our 4 academic support people are. We'll start with her.
You get to start with me because I've been here the longest. So I'm Beth Rosma. I've been here, this is my 8th year at Marshall Middle School in academic support. And I have been super fortunate during my 8 years to get to travel with 2 grades of kids. So I was with the 2022 graduates, our seniors this year. I was with them all 4 years. through middle school. And our class of 2026 are 8th graders. I have been with them since the 5th grade. So it's been a huge blessing for me to work with the same group of kids and really get to know them. Don't just get to know the kids that I personally work with in my cohort, but the whole class. And so just build strong relationships, and they start to know that you're somebody, maybe when they're starting out in the 7th grade, they don't know their teachers that well. They don't have some of those connections built, and you're kind of that trusted adult that they can come to and ask questions. So that has, I think, been a big benefit for me to travel with those two classes of kids. And I'm so excited. The seniors, I see them out and about in the community, and still hugs and highs, and it's just really neat, the connections that go so much farther than this building and go out into the community. Even working at Hy-Vee, the kids who would come in and work in the community, you just see them and know them, and that's awesome. So before coming to Marshall Middle School, I taught preschool. A lot of you maybe know me from my days at We Care Preschool, and I did that for about 10 years. And all of that all together has led me to want to continue my education. So I enrolled at SMSU this fall to get my teaching degree. I have an AA, but I'm ready to extend it. My kids are all grown and gone, and it's kind of my time to do that. So I'm a little on the elderly side to do that, but as my kids know at school, you're never too late. You can keep working at your education, so we're always a learner.
Good for you, Beth. How many kids are on your caseload? How many kids do you serve?
It started with about 20 to 22. Currently, right now, I think I'm at 12, and that's been building each week as we start the school year. More kids will come in too. Yep.
We'll hire you in a second with that degree.
What was
You're
that?
guaranteed a job.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
That's what I told her when she came to tell me that she had decided to do this. I said, "You're never too old." And she has that passion, so that's very much to our advantage. We also have Bryce Evans, who is in her 2nd year as an academic support person. She was with 6th graders last year, and she is now with 7th grade this year. She said that her favorite part working with the Marshall Public Schools was being able to make those connections with the students, and she loves how that goes beyond the classroom as well. And then we have 2 new academic support staff this year. One is Xiomara Garcia Lopez. She is working with our 6th graders, and she is going to SMSU for social work. And because she loves it so much and she's had this opportunity now, she also has decided to add an education degree on top of that. So that's pretty neat that in the first month that has had an impact with her. She's a graduate from Marshall here in 2018. And she loves the bonds that she's built already and how the kids are so comfortable asking her questions. She also is fluent in Spanish, so that has been a bridge for her with the EL students as well. And she just wanted us to share she is very grateful for the opportunity as well. And then our other new academic support person is Kaden Martins, and she's working with our 5th graders. She just graduated from SMSU just in May with a degree in biology. She also really appreciates the connections that she has made with the students and the trust that comes with that. She really sees the benefit of working with small groups with the students and how that is benefiting the students as well. And she really is starting to see the confidence that is being built with those students as their skills are getting built as well. Beth's going to talk a little bit about how the program benefits the students.
This program benefits our students by providing support in a small group. So as you know, because you work very hard to keep our class sizes small and our groups as small as possible, because the smaller the group, the more intentional you can be and individualized in that support. So that's the benefit that we get in academic support, is we work with a small group of students. And so we can really individualize the support that they're getting. The kinds of support that we give might be reteaching a lesson, extra practice time, extra time to do their practice work. Some kids need extra time to take a test. Some of our students are recently dismissed EL students, and so taking that time to have with them to maybe read questions, things they're not quite understanding, things that went pretty fast in their regular instruction and they need to go over it one more time. Might be rereading a story for their language arts class, working on those study islands for science, those things that they might need broken down just a little bit more. So the benefit is, when we're working with these small groups, we really get to individualize that time, or we get to spend it doing a reteach of what we've done in class and reinforcing a lesson that we've had in class. We also, so during the day, we attend the core classes with the kids. So we hear all of the instructions that are given, we hear how the lesson is taught, we know the expectation for the assignment. That provides all of that. When the child goes home, as you know, as parents, grandparents, and you say, do you have homework? You weren't there. You didn't hear those instructions. They say, I don't know what the assignment was. Or in their planner, it says do problems 2 through 20 evens, and you don't know, you weren't there. We have that benefit here in a small group. So when we're working on those things, I've been there, I've heard that, and we're going to bring that right back in the classroom and we're going to get going on that. So I think that's a big benefit to the students that we work for, that we are in their core classes. So we're aware of all the things going on in those classes. What academic areas are supported? Primarily during the day when we attend those core classes, we focus in math and language arts. Those are the classes that we are in. Just simply, we can't be in every class every day. So those are the ones that we focus on. We do not just focus our work on that. The kids will be supported in all their subjects as needed, but our primary focus is language arts and math. And those would be the classrooms we're in during the day. We don't only help our students either, we help all the kids in the classroom. So it's never just focused on, these are my 3 students. It's anybody in the classroom who needs assistance.
So it is an expectation of the academic support staff to meet with the grade level teams on their meetings weekly, and if they meet on other times as well. So collaboration happens then. I feel like it's really important for them to be a part of the collaboration with the grade level, not only on the academics, but the expectations, as well as for them to share with the grade level teachers the strengths, the weaknesses, the things that they're seeing as well, so that they can be a part of the planning and not only help and support the students, but to support the teachers as well. So they really work together also in determining who is going to be selected to be a part of those small groups. I feel like that's valuable insight for them to hear from the academic support staff, since they're working with them, as well as the teachers putting their input in together, so we can determine the needs of the students as well. Ultimately, we want the students to be successful and be proficient in those standards.
The expectations of academic support don't differ from any other class that the kids are in. So first and foremost, pride, respect, responsibility. They come to our classroom expecting to have their work, to have a good attitude, to be ready to learn. So our expectations are no different in our academic support enrichment than in any other classroom. The one big difference I'd like to highlight is in academic support enrichment, we never give additional work. So there will never be anything added to our students' workloads from us. It is all about supporting the academics that are already in place, the lessons that are already given by their core teachers. And so we never add anything to that. And I think that's kind of a unique piece to academic support.
I think it's very important for the academic support staff to also have communication with the families, because they are touching their students' lives and they are working with them. So I think it's important for them to communicate phone calls, emails, to communicate not only their challenges, but also their successes. So I shared with them, I want them to talk about those things like that they are seeing with the family so that they're used to seeing them. Beth kind of alluded to this before, because they're moving with the grade levels, they've really created a bond with those students and with the families. So she shared with me, like in the summer when a student is moving to a new grade level, they don't necessarily know the teachers yet. So she'll sometimes get contacted in the summer.
Often.
Yeah, about questions, which creates that bond and those relationships that are built, which I think is very important. So we want that communication to be fluent.
When do they receive the academic support? So academic support kids come to us during enrichment times. So each of our 4 grade levels, we each teach 2 enrichment periods. And that's when our kids come to us.
That's when you do your actual small group.
That's when we do our small group. Yep, our small group work with them. And then the rest of the day, we're in the core classes with them and working with them at that time. The kids academic support kids don't miss out on another enrichment. Sometimes that might be the idea that they're missing out on something they could be at because they're in academic support. We don't ever want to have that message out there, because we don't tell our EL kids, you miss out on something because you have EL services. You miss out because you have SPED services. You miss out because you have a reading enrichment. That's a benefit. That's something we're able to give you in addition. And so I see that as something you're gaining. You're not missing out on anything. So I just like that attitude. And having been in this a long time, especially when I'm able to travel through the grades, I'll have other kids say, how do I get in your class? Because when they're struggling, they're looking for that place. Where do I get the extra help? Where can I get the extra support? So I hear that often. How do I get in there? How do I get that help? Because you'll be helping them in the classroom, in their core classes, and they'll want to know how they get that extra enrichment.
How do you handle that?
How do I handle that? I help in the classroom. If there's opportunities that I can help them, if they can join me at different times, they're in. These will also be the kids who could, if identified by the core teachers, they could move into academic support if that's a fit for them. Yeah. Yep.
So you had asked how many kids, typically for a cohort or a grade level, like lower 20s. We want that to be fluid, though. To fit the needs of the kids, you have to look at the data. You have to look at the assessments. You have to track that data. And you have to have that collaboration with the grade level teachers and the academic support staff. The needs change. We want to make sure that we are supporting the students so they are able to be proficient in their in the standards. So that shouldn't be something that if they're identified at one point, like in 5th grade, that they're in it forever. Could they be in it in multiple years? Yes, but they can move in and out according to the need. No one child, or even adult for that matter, has strengths in everything or challenges in everything. So that should be fluid according to the kids, not changing like every week, of course, but that's where the collaboration comes in so that you can tell if they need additional assistance to be proficient in a standard, that they do that.
Last page. The selection process for academic support. I think this is really interesting. I kind of like this, but it starts in the 5th grade, and we have new kids coming into the building. So our first step is when those kiddos are in the spring of 4th grade, we take a look at their MCA data from spring of 4th grade, and we start the process there. These aren't official, but we get an idea of what kids might be on our list to look at. And then we talk to the grade level teachers in 4th grade when they come over for the visit, and we get some background on kids coming in because they've been with them all year. And when they come into our building in 5th grade, they're brand new to us, and there's a huge learning curve in the first several weeks of teaching before you really get to know these kids. So in those first few weeks when they are in our building and starting the 5th grade, the academic support staff member for that grade is in the core classes, and they're observing, taking notes, looking at data, working with the classroom teachers to identify an initial group of kids they're going to start working with. That process typically takes, I would say, about 3 to 4 weeks to do due diligence with it and to take your time. The first 2 weeks of school, anybody knows, is a honeymoon period. We don't see those real kids till week 3. And so you might not see some of the habits or the things that are going to identify them as a good fit for academic support until we get a little time under our belt. So that's roughly the process of, it takes a while. It's not a quick decision, and it's very much a collaboration of their 4th grade teachers, their 5th grade teachers, the data, observations, recommendations from school counselors of kids who just might need that extra connection piece. So there's just a lot that goes into that selection process. And then from there, I think, as Paula said, it can change through the years. Once you start with that select group, now that's going to be fluid. Kids may be able to exit out, and other kids are identified as needing that extra support. So then through the years, it changes from there. But starting in the 5th grade, that's the process that it starts with.
So besides us appreciating their work supporting the students, I do want everybody to realize they do wear a lot of hats. They do a lot of things besides that. They're doing lunch and recess supervision every day, which is very beneficial for them to know those kids and move from grade level to grade level. So we have matched them for lunch and recess supervision to the grade that they're already with. The kids are familiar with them, and they're familiar with the kids. They also are being substitutes for crossing guard duty before and after school, which I think they've all done at some point already in the year. And also now on Wednesdays, when we have that 2:20 early dismissal for PLCs, they are doing the bus supervision after school, so that allows the teachers to not have to do that, so that they can go in and start their PLC meetings right away. So they help with assessments sometimes, proctor small groups when we have those benchmark tests in the fall and the spring, or Ames web testing, things like that. They're very flexible. They've even covered like some reading classes and such when we're short of subs. So they really go with the flow and wear a lot of different hats besides just their academic support job. So we're very appreciative of the 4 of them.
Is there ever a need for more people like Beth? I mean, it
I'll
seems.
take as many as you'll give me.
I'm just saying, it seems 20 to 25 of each class. It just seems like there would be more kids that need help. I mean.
Yeah, if we had the funding, I would definitely take it. Right now, what we're targeting is those kids that aren't getting services already, that aren't on an IEP or a 504 or getting EL services and such. But we always have a need. So if you have that money tree you want to share, that would be great.
Academic support is just in the middle school?
I don't
We
know.
have academic support at Southview and the middle school and Parkside. High school had it previously, but right now we don't have anyone in that position at the high school. It's a position that's funded through our A&I grant, so that's where the funding comes from.
When is time built in for you to meet with teachers? When you have to have that dialogue, is time built in for that to take place regularly?
Yep, every week. So when the core teachers have common prep time, that's when they have that same time to meet with them. Yep.
So with doing this for 10 years, you know, if kids are behind when going into 4th grade, they're going to be behind. Usually the statistics say they're going to be behind through 12th. Do you see that cohort catching up or not? Because if they're not catching up, my next question is, what can we do to get them caught up more? I guess that'd be a question for you.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. And I think that, speaking off the cuff, you're right. these are kids who, this is never, that we're not going to flip a switch where this comes easy. That's why some of the kids I've had all the way through middle school. So it's establishing some skills for them to learn how to do this and how to be successful. It's never just going to be easy for a lot of these kids. So how do I learn to study? How do I learn to be organized? How do I learn to find the helps that I need? Where do I ask questions? How do I advocate for myself? Do I know my strengths and weaknesses? So it's kind of all of that. And that's where when you can get these small groups and you can individualize that, they can start to recognize some of these things in themselves. And in middle school, I mean, they're all over the map. But if we can establish some of those good habits in middle school, they can transfer to high school when they do have some of the maturity and when they can take some of that responsibility on themselves and use those skills to translate into later on. Are they going to be the top of the class?
No, but you see massive improvement, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you know what? We did take some kids out this year that were getting services before. Just because they're in it once does not mean they can't be successful and doesn't mean that they're always going to have those same problems. That is not the goal. You have to use your data and you have to track that. They might struggle in some math skills. That doesn't mean they're struggling in everything for math and doesn't mean they're struggling for everything for language arts or anything. So it's very fluid. It doesn't mean they're going to struggle forever and in high school. It doesn't mean they're even going to struggle the next grade or the next quarter. Like that, we look at the data and that's fluid.
I
So
think it's a great program. I just wish we could expand a little bit more.
I think it's a tremendous program, and I thank you guys for supporting it because we've had a tremendous amount of support over the years. And I think all of you as parents and grandparents, and you know the benefit of a connection. That, above all else, if your child comes to school and they have somebody they can trust and they have somebody that they connect with and that they know that cares, it's got to start there. And then we can work on the academic piece and we can put all that on top of it. But I think investing in this, it's a unique position to get to be in the classroom and stand in the background and see who's struggling. A teacher's got 30 kids in front of them, 25, 30 students. They just can't possibly be attentive to everybody's needs. And so when you're able to be in the background and see, oh gosh, this one's struggling over here, this one is having trouble with this, and you're able to move around the classroom and do that, and then work in small groups as well, that's huge. It's huge, and I just thank you guys for supporting a great program because I think it's really valuable. And
I think
yeah,
the
I'd love to
statement-
see it.
The statement you brought up earlier just touched my heart deeply. It's the kid who comes up to you and said, how do I get your kind of help? Because you are visible. Kids do know you're there to assist. You're a safety net.
Absolutely. And I think you see that even in our brand new staff are already saying the connections the kids will come ask. They see that extra support in the classroom and they know where to go and where they can get that. And they can get it from their teacher as well, but teachers they're busy, they're pulled in multiple directions. And we have the time to sit down and work through a problem. Give them that time, give them that attention, take some of that stress off when I don't get it and I'm going to go home and I still don't get it.
and immediate feedback.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
advantage you have is you have 22, teacher has 150.
Exactly.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
bet.
Thank you.
Moving on to our consent agenda, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second was Aaron?
Sure.
Yeah. Any comments? If not, please vote. Is approved. Board forum, board members, anybody like to bring up anything? Moving on to our discussion items, our enrollment update.
I just want to share with October 1st, we see numbers in the first day of school, in the first couple days of school, but really October 1st is that deadline when we have what we feel is a good, solid number to work with. So what I've shared is where we were the first day of school. You see up on the shared document, the end of the year last year is kind of our benchmark, and then October 1st, because that's really where our dollars start, our counting starts. So right now, we are up 94 students. We can count K through 12 from where we ended the year last year. And then when you add in the preschool, it's a little bit lighter right now than where we were. We're at 79 more than we ended the year last year. So our numbers look really solid right now.
Excellent. Moving on to our second reading of policies 401 and 406. Any comments? Moving on to our action items. The first action item is approval of the memorandum of understanding with Mr. Purrington. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sharing, this is a memorandum of understanding between the school district and the EA with Rick's position, like we've done with other administrators moving into administrative spots from teaching ranks in the district.
I think it was nice to take care of our own. Rick has proven himself in several ways for our district.
We'll do a nice job.
Very good. We'll call for a vote, please. It is approved. Thank you, board members. Meeting's adjourned.